Hello to all of my Bethel Park BPTV fans, YouTube fans, new fans, and just friends out there watching this show for the first time or continuing to it. I'm happy to tell you this is the Alan Levine, the Talking Machine show. I'm doing my 6th show. I have a great guest. I want him to introduce himself right now.
Good afternoon, all. Tony Garino from Brookline, local city kid, and I'm out here enjoying the afternoon with Alan Levine, the Talking Machine. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
You're welcome. Wait till you hear this interesting gentleman right now. We're going to get right into it. First question, I assume you were born in Brookline?
Actually, I am. Back in the day when I was born, my family all from downtown. I'm the youngest of six.
We're at in downtown.
Right off of Wiley Avenue and Locust.
Hill District.
The Hill District, yeah.
That's where I grew up,
yeah.
105 Pride Street.
105 Pride. See, you were there on Pride. I wasn't on Pride. When my father built the home in Brookline, 1949, he moved right into Brookline. So they used to ask me my name, what's your name? Tony, and where are you from? Brookline. I never got lost. I'm Tony Brookline. So they knew exactly where it was at.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So where did you go to school in Brookline?
Brookline.
There's plenty of churches and.
Yeah, right. Plenty of churches. Brookline Elementary School.
Okay.
I mean, I started 2 years at West Liberty grade school, but I finished up at Brookline grade school, Brookline Elementary grade school. And you don't realize it till later on, like what a great facility that is,
Sure.
And then we made our way back in 1963 up to South Hills High School.
Get out, old South Hills High School.
Wonderful high school. And again, you don't think about those things till later on in life when you realize
that's your foundation.
Yeah, how good we actually had it, and you think about it today. What kids have to go to school and they get to high school and they go to college and the money they have to spend. We were city kids, city taxpayers.
And how about the tutoring all these kids get?
Ongoing.
With family and friends, we know.
Sure, we have my grandchildren into those programs.
There's a lot of pressure for that.
No question about it.
And they want to achieve.
No question.
Somehow we did it and we made it, Tony.
We did, Alan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
After you graduated high school, did you go to college?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, being the youngest of an Italian family,
sure.
my parents were immigrants.
Oh, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
2 older brothers and 3 older sisters.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry to hear your older sister
passed. Sadly, just the day before yesterday, my oldest sister, Carmela, she would be really bummed if I said oldest. My eldest.
I understand.
My eldest.
You're the baby, so.
Oh, yeah. She always would remind everybody. She was the oldest, I was the youngest,
But
and,
don't say it.
That's right, exactly. And, sadly we lost her. But, growing up in an Italian family like that, all the children, the siblings were married except for myself. And when my father passed away, I was a junior in high school. My parents were immigrants.
You're kidding.
Yeah, steel worker. My
sad.
father was a steel worker. And so school was not real important at that time. The important thing at that time was income, how you
making money.
Yeah, pay the bills, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I had to leave high school when I was a junior.
You're kidding.
I left high school, and I went to
Tell
work.
me this interesting story.
This is an interesting story. It gets a little better, and
I was hoping.
Yeah, well, the reason why I say it is that for years, married, beautiful girl, high school sweetheart, Joyce. Matter of fact, we're coming up. Thank you. We're coming up on 50 years.
God bless you.
Yeah, this August 7th, we're coming
great.
on 50 years. 3 beautiful daughters, 3 granddaughters.
Great.
Our baby daughter, Leah, just prided us with a little grandson, little Bennett Anthony,
wow.
2 months old, really great.
That is great.
But getting back to the school story,
this is all part of it, so keep going on.
Oh yeah, because you're working.
Good.
Yeah, you're working. I mean, you're working. You're doing.
Right.
While you're at home, you got money. You help pay the bills there.
Sure.
And then you take a wife, right? And
then you help out.
Yeah,
and
you
keep
go
going on
there.
to the next step.
So you're out working. So about 40 years later, my dentist, Andy Mex, who we went to school together, he invited me to our 40th reunion.
Wow.
Class reunion. I said, Andy, listen, I wasn't part of that graduating class. He said, oh, come on, what's the difference? You'll know everybody.
Yeah.
Nah, I just don't feel good. I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I will go out and I'll secure my GED. And if I secure my GED before the
on your 40th anniversary.
Then we went. So I went, right? And what makes it even more fun, 10 years later, when they had the 50th, the committee hired me to DJ the reunion. So that was a lot of fun. That was because my daughter and I, we have a little
Talk
entertainment.
about networking and connecting.
Yeah, just
That was hand in a glove.
exactly. So
Wow.
it was sad because sometimes you regret things that geez I could have this, I could have did that, but it wasn't the plan. So I
Right.
followed in God's plan.
And so now you went to college?
no, what I did is I took some business courses.
I had to ask.
And that's okay. That's good, and I'm glad to answer.
Sure.
While I was working, all those years,
And what did you do for a living?
I've been in the bottled water filtration.
Explain that to the folks, because you started this a long time ago.
Man, I tell you what, who would ever thunk it, right? That,
Growing up, it was rare to have bottled water.
It
We
was.
had thermoses and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Or the fountain, wherever you could
Fountains
spread.
were great. We all
Exactly.
drank out of it. We
That's
didn't
right.
care how sick you were.
That's the truth.
We were thirsty.
We were thirsty.
And hoses were popular.
Oh yeah, you'd hang it right over. Yeah, hang it
How
right
about
over
that
top.
taste?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful taste.
How'd
Well,
you get into the water
Well, it's interesting.
business?
My wife's father, wonderful guy, Babe Molinaro, Beachview guy, right? He was the manager, plant foreman over there at Polar Water
Okay.
on North Avenue years ago,
Sure,
right?
they've been around forever.
Yeah, and his father before him. So one day he called me in. He said, "You want to help out bottling some water? You can make a few dollars." I said, "Yeah." I went in part time, and I started dabbling around with that
So
business.
you're hustling water
I
bottles.
was hustling water bottles, putting them big glass bottles up on my shoulder, and I've been in that business ever since. I've left the Polar Company back in 1980,
Yeah.
and I went with another local company, Tyler Mountain Water.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, locally
yes.
owned and operated. I officially retired from that company back in 2014.
Okay.
But the connections that I've made over the years, I still represent that line.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I
so
also
you have a little side business.
yeah, I mean, it
Sure.
works out very well. I have a great connection.
You and I can't quit. We just keep
No,
working.
you got the School of Hard Knocks.
Yes,
we
yes.
came. Yeah, we came through this school. Yeah, right. We took our bumps and bruises over the years, no question. And I got a great connection with one of my distributors who we go back with forever, the Negley family up in Butler. So I'm able to work with them remotely. I still get a chance to go out and see customers from time to time. So it's fun.
How does somebody get a hold of you if they need water?
Oh well, that's pretty easy. We can go. They can go to. They can actually the easiest.
I'm
way,
trying to help you.
I know you are, and the easiest way to do that is probably just give me a call on my cell phone.
You want to give it out
41
slow. Talk slow, because I'm getting old.
Sure. Tony Guarino, 412-639-7696. That's a direct line to me. Any questions that you may have regarding H2O, we have the answers. I have a network of people. We probably have 400 or 500 years combined service with the network
Wow.
that we have. And just understanding, water quality
Sure.
and how it works.
Sure.
Not that the municipal authority water is trying to kill you, they're not, but there's certainly alternatives that, and I wouldn't
sure.
necessarily drink tap water. You can always do something a little different.
I understand. I drink sparkling water and alkaline water
Yeah.
because I'm a bit of a health nut.
Yeah,
I like
alkaline,
to
absolutely. The
keep
pH
the
level.
pH level in your body at about 7.3 or 4. And
Absolutely,
you're
get
good.
balance.
Yeah.
Get that balance, absolutely.
I practice that. So
Yes,
just
oh, I know
interrupt
you
you
do.
on that.
I know you do.
Now, you talked about music. I had heard a story that your dad was in music.
Well, actually, my eldest brother.
Okay.
Well, okay, let me back
Well, I
up.
got it from a different source.
Yeah, I know,
I'll
and I know.
reveal later.
I
I'll
know
reveal
the
later.
sources, right? And what's interesting about that is the family always was surrounded with music.
Sure.
My parents being immigrants, we were fortunate enough to pick up some of the old songs that came from Italy.
Oh,
and
great.
he had the accordion and the guitar.
Sure.
And we always entertained that way, through the family. And then my middle brother was a guitar player.
Get
So he
out.
always had the guitar around.
Did you
that.
play any instruments?
I never played the instruments, but
What happened?
I did the vocals.
You got the voice.
Yeah, I had the vocals, so I could come with the vocals,
That
so,
is great.
Yeah, but
So-
the family always gathered like that. Then my eldest brother Lou, he was a producer in the record industry.
You're
goes
kidding.
Yeah, goes back with Joe Rock and the Skyliners.
Wow,
And,
that is great history.
Yeah, my brother Orlando was in the band business. I mean, he played a lot of local clubs. And then back in the day, right before a couple years before I got married, we had our own band, own rock and roll
What
band.
was it called?
Well, we were the City Steps.
We got a lot of them.
Yeah, we do. Got a lot of city steps in Pittsburgh, and I
What a
had
name.
this vision, right? I can see us all sitting on the steps, underneath the street light.
Yeah, that'd be a great photo
Yeah,
op.
it would have been, yeah, but it never. That part of it didn't happen. But we had a chance to play.
But you played around locally, and
Yeah, we did some of the. We did the club. We used to do the theme up in Whitehall.
I remember that place.
Yeah, we did the theme. We
I
did
remember after hours there too.
Yeah, they had.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. We were in there after hours. The staircase.
Many time in the 70s I was up there.
Yeah, we were probably there just ahead of you.
Okay.
1968, 69, we were there.
You beat me. You got me by a few years
Couple
too.
years,
so
couple, yeah.
I was following in those footsteps.
You were, man. You were. Staircase Lounge. We used to do
Yeah.
the Staircase Lounge down on Liberty. We did a lot of private parties and
There were so
college
many
things.
places that had live music too.
Yeah, yeah.
That was what great. Look at Market Square.
Oh,
You
it was
know, back in the days.
all
there.
PPG. The PPG complex. That was
Yeah.
all nightclub entertainment. I remember when they ripped that all Market Street all
Oh,
down. They ripped
yeah.
that all down. Yeah.
I was always a fan of it because I started at the Post Gazette in '75. Actually, in '74, going to Market Square was just great with
Right
the
across,
clubs and
right
the
across
action.
the street. Sure.
Ah,
And then of course we had Court Place too, further uptown by the Carlton House.
yes.
The
now
Carlton
you're
House
talking.
with Court Place around the corner. They had the club, the Beau Brummel Club.
Yeah,
there
I
were some
remember
real
that.
neat places.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh back then was
Well,
really
look at even in the Hill District, Crawford Grill and all the other
great
places
stuff.
there.
Great stuff.
Yeah, it went downhill, and now they're trying to revive it. This Jessica Lee, the jazz singer,
Yeah.
she works for Gateways Corporation. Her and Franco are going to revive the Crawford Grill in the next
I
couple
read
of years.
I read about that. Yeah,
They're
I read
doing
about it.
great things there.
Franco Harris is involved.
Yes, he
Oh,
is.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
We're lucky. In the Pittsburgh, greater Pittsburgh area, our history's so rich. We got so many good things.
And we were like the crossroads of jazz
Oh,
with
yeah.
what went on. And then look at the boxers and fighters and baseball players that were at all these clubs.
Yeah, they were there.
I mean,
the story, Bobby Lane. How about the Bobby Lane stories?
I knew guys that drank with him before he started on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. He used to leave the clubs at
They
3
told
o'clock.
me.
That's right. He goes straight.
They
straight
told
to
me
the
6.
6 o'clock. Well, I heard 3 o'clock were some of the stories. Well, maybe it could have been 6 because by the time he got out of there, he went straight to Pitt Stadium or Ford
I
Field.
was with guys that worked at the Pittsburgh Press, and they actually drank with them.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And they told stories with other baseball players too, going back in the past, the Weiner brothers,
That's
and
right, exactly.
stuff like that, going back.
And Bobby Del Greco. Bobby Del Greco was a local ball player. He played.
I
around-
become friends with him and his sons.
Yeah,
over the
sure,
years.
sure. Down right, of course, down through
Yeah.
the Post Gazette and Press. I'm sure you could share a lot of good stories out of
This is about you. No stories
Post
there.
Gazette,
Yeah,
Post
so you
Gazette
got into the music business, and you're still doing it today.
Yeah, I mean, what's really cool.
How did that happen?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Because
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, and listen, obviously, when you get married, and you make that decision, you embrace that decision. Of course, now it's time to raise a family and do
Sure.
some things, right? So we did that, and then my youngest daughter, Leah, I decided, I don't know, maybe about 20 years ago, I said, you know what? We don't have the band anymore, but why don't we? I remember specifically what it was because we went to a wedding up
Okay.
in Canada, and the music. I said, like, wow, where are they coming from with this
Right.
music, right? And I said, I know I can do better than that. So I said to
Wow.
my daughter, Leah, I
That's
said,
the
look,
challenge.
yeah, I said, look, why don't we do this? I'll buy the rig. I'll spend all the money, and we'll start up a little DJ entertainment business. And it worked out very well. As a matter of fact, my youngest daughter, Leah, at 19 years old, she was then going to Robert Morris.
Okay.
And she wound up at 19. She's a pretty tough kid. She wound up landing a little bar job down on McNeely Road. I'm
Yeah.
drawing a blank. Bourbon Street. I can't remember the name of the little bar.
There was a Bourbon Street
Right there, that
bar.
little.
It's since closed, and
Yeah,
they
torn down.
tore it down and put a garage they're starting
Yeah.
to do there.
She
now.
had the DJ gig there. She was in there
Wow.
every Friday. And back then, she was making herself a nice.
There were a few bars right around there
Yeah,
too. I
exactly,
remember.
yeah. So she got involved with that. In the meantime, we and then she went to work for a little entertainment company. She was working with an entertainment
Okay.
company. She got that experience. So we kind of like expanded out onto the weddings and parties and
So you're DJing weddings, parties,
yeah, we're-
etc.
yeah. We got
Hard.
whacked. Of course, we got whacked hard last year, 2020.
Who didn't?
Yeah, everybody did. Yeah, everybody
got wiped
did.
out, but
Yeah.
it's coming back.
It is, and we got some things lined up.
Nice.
I love doing the reunions because that's my spot, right?
Yeah,
that's my
that's
sweet
your
spot.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, and I get such a kick out of playing the music that we grew up with, and when you see folks our age, my age,
Yeah.
still responding to that,
Yeah.
I mean it's wonderful,
And what's
keeps me
cool
young.
is the younger generation like a lot of those older songs.
Oh, they do. Oh, and
They're in tune with it. They'll even tell you that they like certain favorite songs.
They do.
Which I find's cool, even with my kids. And some of the rock and roll bands like the Who's my favorite band,
Right,
and
right.
stuff like that. So,
Great documentary on Hendrix on the other day. I just
one
caught
of
it.
the favorite. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I heard
Yeah,
about
it was a very good documentary. What a story that was. Interesting because my granddaughters are all involved in dance. Matter of fact, they live right here. Two live right here in Bethel Park, and one lives in Scott Township.
Ah, nice.
And little guy, little Benny, he's too young yet.
Well, they can watch this show on Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park,
That's
or
right.
Verizon 32 in Bethel Park.
I was coming with that.
And the greater Pittsburgh area on 32.
I knew that was a segue. I knew
You
that.
know, if I'm not promoting, I'm not talking.
That's right, exactly, exactly. What's kind of cool about it is they really enjoy it. They get a chance to dance to some of the old stuff.
Sure.
And my middle granddaughter Adina, I mean, she's really in. She loves the 50s, the old doo-wop stuff. She's 12 years old.
That is fantastic.
It makes me feel good, when she comes to me and she's, Pappy, listen to this playlist. Wow. And she'll come with stuff like, I said, wow, I mean, this stuff is fantastic.
You're like, I grew up with this.
Yeah, exactly, which is good stuff.
No, that is great.
Yep.
No, I'm happy for you there.
Thank you.
Now, our mutual friend, Vince Ornato,
Vince
said you'll have some sports stories, and he said always to ask you about Moore Park.
Oh my! Well, Moore Park, Moore Park. Well,
I gotta go there.
What can I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did.
I wanted to do it about halfway in. We're halfway in, brother.
Man, we can.
The floor is yours.
Okay, we can spend the next 4 days on Moore Park, but no, just kidding.
No, you're not.
All right, well, yeah, you're right.
Give me a couple stories. How you were at Moore Park growing up.
Right. Well, I'm just another Moore Park kid. There were 8 generations of family dating back to 1939.
That's why I wanted you here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it was great. I mean, we were so fortunate growing up in Brookline, city of Pittsburgh. I mean, it was like suburbia, and we had Moore Park. And actually, in 1939, it was established. And the families, each generation, had their own
Carried
thing.
it on.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely great. And to this day, the park is still healthy, and they're doing a lot of good things. But back in the early to the mid 60s, there was a lot of sports going on down there, a lot of sandlot sports.
Oh, sure.
A lot of us were too small to play high school ball. We wanted to, but we couldn't.
Hey, we all competed. Not all of us made the high school team.
Exactly.
That's how.
Baseball was wonderful. We had the Brookline Memorial Center with baseball, but we wanted to play football.
Yeah.
So we checked it out, and there was a league. It was called the Metropolitan Football League. Okay. It was on Liberty Avenue, out of the old Olympic Sports Center on Liberty Avenue. And we spun around Brookline, Homewood, Southside, Crafton, Brighton
Throughout
Heights.
the city.
Oh yeah, it was
Northeast, Southwest.
Yeah, it was you
didn't care.
No,
you just wanted to play.
Exactly. Whiteside, we played ball up in Whiteside. There was some great times. And back then, I remember our dear friend, may he rest in peace, Greg Kale. He was Mr. Pittsburgh for a while. The Kale family, big Kale.
I'm friends with Kales.
Yeah.
Chris Kale lived on my street.
Yeah, Chris, of course.
In Bethel Park when I first moved there in '83.
Chris and Greg
Chris
were
and his family, and
they were
I'm friends
first
with his son, Chris, also.
Exactly. You have
his
a
daughter.
Big family.
Yeah.
And Greg was down there, and he was just like fooling around coaching, some of the younger kids. So I kind of like approached him. I said, hey, Greg, what's up? I said, listen, there's this league. He said, yeah. He said, sounds like a pretty good idea. So we organized, Greg and I, and first
How
time.
many players did you have?
What's interesting was the first year we played, we went under what we were called the Brookline Sabres, because the Uptown already had a team a year prior.
So you started a new team.
We started the Brookline Sabres. Some of those guys came up because we had the strength in numbers up here in Brookline, but some of those guys came up. First year we were the Brookline Sabres, and then right after that, then we became the Brookline Royals in 1966. Prior to that, there was a Brookline Royals team dating back to 1961. Wow. So I kind of like resurrected the name.
That's cool.
Yeah, it really was.
It's traditional. We're traditional type guys.
We are.
Why not do it?
That's right. And we had that team from 66. I played from 66 through 71.
Wow.
And
what position?
I quarterbacked.
Get out. You could throw.
Well, listen, man.
You had the brains.
Well, yeah, we organized, we were all legends.
I know you're a modest man. I'm trying to pick your brain.
No, listen, I'll be honest with you. I was never really good at the real deep pass, but within 20 to 30 yards, I could hit my mark.
That's all you needed.
And the bottom line is we won. We're over like a 3 or 4 year stretch. I think we were like 33-1-2.
Wow.
That was our record. I mean,
you're champs.
We were champs. I mean, it was fantastic. It really was. You know the deflate gate?
Yes.
New England, Brady deflate.
You did it.
I had deflate gate years ago.
Here's what I tell people when they changed the balls and made them slicker.
Yes.
That's when this got even worse. I said that they were always doing it because people have different size hands.
That's exactly right.
And look at how they make a college ball, an NFL ball. Well, how did they change from college to pro?
Right.
the hand size is the same.
Exactly, exactly.
So
when it got wet, it was really only when it got wet. If it was dry,
well,
I
when
was
it's
okay.
slick, yeah,
when it's slick.
you need that extra grip.
I used to call-
was a center, so
Oh,
I
then you
understood that.
know what I'm talking about.
I didn't fumble one snap my senior year with
exactly.
my
There you go.
Whippeal champion quarterback Rich DeMeo.
Richie
back in
DeMeo.
'74.
Wow. And what high school did you come?
Keystone Oaks.
KO. That's
Yeah.
right. I remember the DeMeo name
Yeah,
coming out of
he
there.
was a beast. He grew up in Green Tree with me, and I was with Floriolis, Strategos, Piccininis, DeMeos,
Yeah.
Russos.
KO always had it. They always had good programs. Seton LaSalle, KO, they had
Yeah,
good
we had a good
programs.
rivalry with you because you were across the street.
Of course, of course.
And then we had a couple kids transfer, to our school and played well.
Over KO,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
And
wanted to be with us.
to this day, my wife and I still enjoy walking over there. The facility's still fantastic, and
Yeah.
they do a good job. I used to call Beasley. I said, Beasley, get the needle. Beasley would, in between, he'd take the
Yeah.
needle and he'd punch it and take a little, just enough that I could grip it a little better.
Sure,
But-
he wanted to squeeze that
exactly.
ball.
But we had some great times, and it was pretty much all local guys. We were Brookline guys, and
You had a lot of good athletes.
yeah, we did. We
In
had
Brookline.
Yeah, we had good athletes, and
Because I know some of the boxers. I don't know if this name comes back to you. Mike Baynes.
Mike Baines.
And-
He come out of Charlie's Angels. He come from Charlie's Angels.
Yeah. And then the another guy who I became good friends with, Muscles Healy.
Oh, Muscles, yeah.
One of the
Muscles
best.
Healy, yeah. He did it. Oh, great kid. Great
I
kid.
met him through a guy named Jack Doyle. I don't know if he was from there, but he's a taller guy.
I know Jack Doyle.
Jack's done a lot in the community.
yeah,
big guy.
yeah, I know Jack.
Well,
sure.
when I had Muscles and Jack together, Jack goes, Muscles is my bodyguard.
Yes.
You know how big Jack is.
Yeah, exactly,
So I
right?
go, Muscles, you must be a tough guy.
Exactly, no
He
question
just
about
shook
it.
his head.
It's interesting you say that because back in 2019, the talk around town was, oh, we got to get together. We have to have a reunion. We have to have a reunion.
Yes.
So one day I was coming up the side of the steps of the building. It said Moore Park established 1939. I thought to myself, geez, 1939. If I wait for 100 years, a lot of us aren't going to be around to do this.
Including you.
Including me. So we grabbed the bull by the horns, my daughter and I, through Garino Group. That's our little event planning company. And we
nice.
put together the 80th celebration, Moore Park celebration, the reunion. I tell you what, God
I
was
saw
with
some
us.
things about
yeah,
it.
it was
And then
fantastic.
Your friend Vince gave me a video
Yeah.
with you guys, with Chuck, and
yeah,
Charlie's
oh, yeah.
Angels there.
Chuck-
Mike Tripolsi was there.
Mikey T,
Yeah.
Mikey T, yeah. We got some great names that come out of that. Everybody had a tag. You had to have a tag.
Hence Alan Levine, the talking machine.
Exactly. You had to have a tag. If you had a tag, that meant that you made it. Sadly, because Park was pretty rough. It was rough too. I mean, there was a lot
Oh,
of.
I'm not saying it wasn't.
Yeah.
There were a lot of tough areas. We know.
Exactly. And sadly, some of the guys went out young. Because back in the 60s and
There
the
were a
70s.
lot of distractions.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
That's what I consider.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and then like my dad refereed basketball, and he goes, sometimes I had games in Homestead. It hasn't changed in 50 years.
No, it hasn't.
He goes, you got to watch where you're at.
That's exactly right.
Because
Exactly.
he ran basketball teams. He was a short guy.
Yeah.
Only about 5'6".
Right.
And
He was in control.
he
Control.
organized basketball teams. One of his players was Cyril Wecht.
Oh wow, Cyril. He
And
had
I'm
him.
friends with Cyril
Cyril,
Wecht.
yeah.
Smartest guy I ever met.
God love him. He's still with us, Cyril.
He's still alive.
How-
He's 90.
90 years old, Cyril.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character. I remember when he ran for mayor, I was a local committee person.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
you know more than I do.
Well, we came through those days. We came the old ward fights, the 19th ward fights. We came through
Oh,
those.
sure. I've
Sophie
heard the city fights. I worked in the city since I was 15 years old at Ralph's Discount downtown.
That's right, Ralph's.
And
sure.
so I know that and worked my career at the Post-Gazette for press for 36 years.
Oh, yeah, then you do.
So I
that.
know downtown
No.
like the back of my
Yeah.
hand.
We were fortunate to come through downtown. And it's changed.
It was the wild, wild west
It was.
when I grew up.
Yeah,
And
no.
I won't tell you the stories because you weren't allowed to drink under 21, but
Off camera, we could.
Yeah, I'll just share that now. They didn't card you.
Exactly,
So you
yeah,
can
you-
imagine how it
you
was.
could move in and out.
And there were card games like you couldn't believe.
Crazy, did you say that? Because on the Moore Park steps, there was a little light on top of the steps just
Yeah.
to go up the steps. It was a wee little light, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. We'd be sitting there playing nickel dime poker, on the
Sure.
quarter, underneath the
And
steps.
people were playing craps and stuff like that.
Off the wall, of course. You did
These
all
old
those things.
timers would show you how to throw and tell you
Exactly.
what to bet.
Exactly.
I didn't want to get into that.
Nah,
but,
listen,
but those were fun days.
Oh, very, very, really. I feel really blessed that, I came through the way I wouldn't change it for anything.
No.
Getting older now, and you think about it, this, that, and everything. Listen,
Look what we learned and witnessed some people never did.
That's the truth.
And never will now because it's changed.
That's true. It's interesting. All the years I've been in business, I mean, I traveled Western Pennsylvania, Greater Ohio, North Central West Virginia,
Tri-state area.
Tri-state area. And when I talk to people like, this is no disrespect to anyone,
No.
Talk to people from like Butler or from Monroeville or from maybe even Upper St. Clair, parts of Peters, and you talk to them about Brookline, and they're like they just don't get it because they just didn't come through that. So I feel real fortunate.
Here, I'll tell you my Brookline story.
Tell me.
We had a team. We had printers and mailers. That was an international typographical union.
Sure.
And they had a baseball.
You were
team.
big in that too. I know you were involved with that.
So, as a kid, my dad had a good friend that looked like Babe Ruth.
Okay.
His name was Hal Holland, the bigger guy. His face looked like Babe Ruth.
Okay.
He was a lefty and a home run hitter.
Wow.
He had a tryout for the major leagues, but he was a high-temper type guy, no patience. So he got in trouble in the minor leagues, didn't make it. So he's working in my department as a mailer.
Right.
We're in a production department.
Gotcha.
But he'd play baseball, and I'm a young kid. My dad goes, "We're going to Moore Park." We go to Moore Park. They got their team playing another team there.
You guys were down the lower field, the big field.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's at the big field.
The big boy field.
And you know how big.
Yes.
He's there. He's the fourth batter up, cleanup hitter.
Right.
First time I'm at a game,
Right.
he jacks the ball out of the
He
field.
cranked it.
Out of the field.
That's a shot.
That's I
315,
told Vince that.
315 down the lines.
And he just crushed the ball.
That's awesome.
And that first time we're there, we're cheering, we're going crazy.
That's awesome. That's
and he had a
awesome.
couple other hits, but that's my claim to fame with
awesome.
Moore Park.
Satch Moore used to be the caretaker, lived in a building, and back in the day when we were kids, boy, he wouldn't let you. He manicured that field.
It was such a cool field.
It was, and what's interesting is the Steelers even back in the day.
Yes.
Back in 1933, 34, they used to use Moore Field as their practice field.
Sure.
I remember in the early '60s they used it a few times.
Sure, they traveled around to different
big
places.
time.
Yeah.
What's fun is I dabble with the I have administer a Facebook page. It's called MPU, Moore Park University.
I'm a member.
I know you are. And it's a pastime for me. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for putting up the music at times too.
Yeah, we plug it.
Enjoy
Yeah,
that.
we get a plug out. We get a kick
But
out
your
of that.
things on Moore Park and the history of it.
Yeah,
and the
they're
people,
fun. Yeah, the people.
I just love that because the stories that go with it. Then guys make comments. I remember so and so, and it's a nickname. It's like, what's his name?
Exactly. For years, you run into the guy. You still don't know his name. Maybe 30, 40 years later, you run into the guy, you call him by his nickname because you never knew his real name.
You'll appreciate this. I'm at the Post-Gazette and Press, right? So there's some older guys. I was one of the few young guys that talked to older guys.
Sure.
And
you had that connection.
Yeah, I knew this guy as Ghost, and I wanted to learn how they did it for 50 years.
Right.
60 years. They're in their 80s.
Sure.
Because they wouldn't retire. They die.
Sure.
So this one guy, Ghost, was an older guy, nice guy. He showed me a couple things, how to tie bundles and, do some of the work.
Yeah.
And, he was older, so he was in an easy job. Here he dies. And somebody goes, some Polish name. They go, he died. I go, who was that? They go, Ghost.
That's
I
right.
go, you got to be kidding
That's right.
me.
You didn't even know his name.
His name
That's the
ended
truth.
with a ski.
That's
and they
the
go,
truth.
you know his brother. And I go, he has a brother here. Another guy with a nickname like
That's
Shadow. He was called Shadow.
I know, that's so Shadow and Ghost.
Yeah.
That's all you knew them by all those years. That's right.
For 10 years.
That's right. In the obituary, you'd have never figured it out.
No, they showed me the obituary, and I go, who's that?
That's too funny. That is
That
too funny.
ties in with your stories.
That's a great story.
But Brookline's a great community.
It is.
And,
It is.
It had a lot of different things. I can talk about BYM clubs
Oh,
and different
yeah,
things
that was
and days like that. It was very vibrant.
Yes, it was.
On the square,
It was, yeah.
especially the racing up and down the boulevard.
I got caught up in a few of those back in the day.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I got challenged a few times.
Yeah, what kind of vehicle did you?
How about this?
Go
I
ahead.
had a 1977 Cougar XR7, a big luxury car. I
Okay,
bought.
but it had the big engine.
Brand new,
It had the big engine.
So some of these kids in the Camaros and
Sure.
whatever,
Come alongside you.
challenging me.
Yeah.
So I'd start up for a little, then halfway I'd go,
Let it
go
go.
ahead, have a good day.
Well, you know what a Cannon is, right?
Yes.
Well, the Cannon, right? Just come up from the Cannon. Used to be Gus's Pizza. Used to be on the
Yeah.
right. There'd be a light just ahead of that. Guys with the '67 Camaros, I had the '66 Coronado. So there was a bunch of them around. The Dodge Coronado 500. There were a lot of them speed cars around. The Corvettes, but there.
Yeah.
A lot of Brookline Boulevard was a racetrack. That's for sure.
Definitely. And on that note, folks, we're hitting the end of this race. I want to thank Tony Garino, my friend, great businessman.
Always a pleasure, Alan.
for being on this show, and
Always
look
a pleasure.
forward to us trying to do a show together in the future.
We got
tease you with that.
Yes, we're working on that. We're working on that.
And make sure you follow Tony Guarino. Check him out on Facebook too.
Yeah, the MPU, Moore Park University.
MPU,
Yeah.
don't forget about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Keep watching my show, and we'll see you next time 2 weeks from now. I have Jim Shorkey Jr. coming on my show July 7th. Stay tuned.